Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Tell Me Yours, a storytelling podcast with me, your host, Trey Everett. Hello and welcome to another episode of Tell Me Yours, a storytelling podcast with me, your host, Trey Everett. Today on the pod, I have a incredible story from a really hilarious person. Patrick McDonald is on the pod today. He is a comedy writer, an actor, a podcaster, a radio DJ. He does it all. He's hilarious. The story is insane. I loved every second of it. So without further ado, please enjoy Patrick McDonald. You were like, it's like a Zoom birthday.
Oh, yeah.
The person trying too hard on the Zoom.
Yes, yeah.
And it was like right in the midst of us all having to do that. And so I was like, this is so funny. It's horrifying now. I hate it. It's not funny anymore, but
it's brutal. I know. I look back on some of that stuff and I was like, oh yeah, that was brutal. I have like a little time capsule, a COVID time capsule Instagram page.
So good.
It's so funny. Yeah.
How have you been, man? What's going on? What's new? What are you up to? What are you working on? Tell me everything.
Man. What am I? All sorts of random things. I think my internet stuff, like I definitely I came to a place where I just love posting stuff when I have fun stuff I want to do. And it's been like a really fun place. So I really enjoy doing that. And then I have a couple podcasts of my own. I'm kind of all over the place. I'm about a multi hyphenated type of, I have a vast interest. So I have an improv podcast, like a Hollywood Roundtable podcast. It's called Artists on Artists on Artists on Artists. It's an improvised Hollywood Roundtable. So we come up with an idea that like we're all going to be crafty. And then we just all spend an hour. We do an hour in character as these people. God. And we just talk about like industry stuff. And we actually just went on. It's me, Kylie Brakeman, Angela Giarratana, and Jeremy Culhane. And we just went on a retreat to Joshua Tree and recorded 10 episodes. It was like a podcast. We went insane. God. We went nuts. And then I'm a writer, so I have a bunch of projects kind of going in and out of different stages of development. I do a lot of internet sketch writing. I'm currently a writer at Smosh, which is like an internet YouTube video place. So I've been doing a lot of stuff there. And then I'm a DJ on Radio Margaritaville. I love it. So that's my other secret. My other multifaceted life that I live.
It's a Sirius XM radio station exclusively dedicated
100% to Jimmy Buffett. Yeah. And it was one of the first ones. I think it started I want to say 2006.
It's love crazy. It.
And then I started doing at the UCB Theater. I used to do a comedy show called Dad's Parrot Head Summer Kickoff. So every summer I would make margaritas live on stage. I would say it was a Parrot Head meetup, and then I'd have all my friends play characters and come out and do bits. My buddy saw it, my buddy Ryan Middledorf, and he was like, "Hey, do you want to do a podcast about Jimmy Buffett?" So we started doing that. We just recorded our 200th episode of that podcast. We've been doing that for 6 years.
What is that one called?
It's called the Parrot Head Podcast. Very straightforward
podcast. I love it.
And that was something that we just fell in love with. And I started listening to all of his albums and finding deep cuts and reading his books and his cookbooks and buying his lawn chairs and all that stuff. I know more. Like I went to a concert this year and I was like, I am the Parrot Head in the crowd. I know all the words. I'm dancing. I know all the secret things. Like everybody else, it was an Aspen concert. So everyone was staring at me like, who is this fucking guy? But I was like, I know who I am. It was so fun. And so then about a year ago during COVID, we got a call from the program director of Radio Margaritaville saying, hey, I love you guys. I was wondering if you guys would want to figure out how to work on, the channel. So we adapted it. Now we're the Friday night DJs. And we're slowly working our way up to maybe doing a live show eventually, which would be very exciting. Gosh. So I'm very, very much looking forward to that. That's
incredible.
Yeah. So it's so cool. It's been fun. It's been a good time. Apparently Jimmy has heard us. He thinks we're funny potentially. I don't know.
It's great.
We're hoping. Here's hoping. So it's been fun. It's a wild.
That's genuinely incredible. What a crazy thing to happen.
I'll tell you what. My big advice is dream big and dream weird. Just have the things that you like. You kind of don't realize what you're manifesting until you manifested it.
Yeah.
Where it was like, well, of course. Yes, this makes sense. We were always just kind of doing this to play around and have fun, and it's always been a good way for me and my buddy Ryan to just kind of catch up and be friends and geek out over something we both like. And then it became this thing that we're actually getting paid for. So it's
that's amazing.
Okay.
That's the dream, honestly.
Yeah. We have haters.
The dream.
We have haters. A lot of people say that we get tweets that we're too young. We sound like we're in high school. That's the big complaint. The big complaint is we're too young.
My God.
I know. But we're
so
okay. Well, then somebody called us Lenny and Squiggy, which are characters from Laverne and Shirley.
Yeah.
Which we'll take. Well, that's fine.
That's a compliment.
My dad told me I'm not Squiggy. I'm Lenny. So
thanks, Dad. Thanks for confirming what didn't need to be confirmed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my God, that's funny. Oh man,
it's a good time.
Okay, you're gonna tell me a story.
Okay, let's do it. We're gonna have a fun little night out story. So this is a story. This is a story of probably the craziest night I have had in my life. Okay. A really wild, fun time. I guess some backstory is I am a Texan. I'm from Texas. Mm-hmm. So I was raised with all those Texan morals. Did you ever see that Frost Bank commercial? You're from Texas, where it was like a little kid in a field that was like,
yes,
I'm nice to my parents and I respect my elders and I remember the Alamo. Like, I feel that's like, I'm a straight shooter and a square dealer. Like, those were like, I feel like that was me. I was like very much like, that's exactly who I was.
Oh my God, I love it.
And that's who I was. So I feel like I have strong morals. I feel like I am very honest. I feel like I'm very straightforward. But I also get a little wild to have a good time. Okay. I should also say that I stopped drinking right about 3 years ago. So this was, and not for anything crazy, but just because I would do a couple too many crazy things when I was drunk, and the Texas style. There was another time when I was in college. I went to school in Boston.
Okay.
And when I was in college, there was a night where on the way back to my dorm room, I saw a marble countertop on the side of it was being thrown away by a Dunkin' Donuts. And I was like, this is really good marble. And I carried it 6 blocks back to my dorm room. And then I woke up and it was so heavy. It was like 85 pounds. I couldn't even pick it up. I had this like drunk brute strength to take home a countertop. And then I didn't know. I was like, what am I going to, I'm 18 years old. I'm living in a triple with 2 other people. What am I going to do with this marble countertop? So I had to, I hid that in the laundry room, and I think that's still there. But regardless, so I kind of get impulsive and I get a little wild when I'm drinking. Got it. Have a lot of fun. There's a type of Pat, we used to call him, when I would drink, and shotgun beers in Texas, we called him Shotgun Pat. And so Shotgun Pat kind of comes out. He's a little wild, a little racy, gets a little crazy. So I was studying abroad. Emerson has this 14th century castle they own in the Netherlands. I went to Emerson College. You go for a 3 months, you go over to this castle, you live with 100 other classmates of yours, friends of yours. And then you travel on the weekends, all that stuff. I had a buddy that I went to college with. His name was Jonathan Shea. And he lived in London. So we were like, he had moved back to London after being at Emerson for a semester. Okay. So when we were in the castle in the Netherlands, we were like, we're going to have to go visit you. So it was me and my friend Liliana and my friend Griff. And Liliana and Griff and I went over to visit Jonathan Shea in London. And we had a great time. He had some weird suggestions where he was like, yeah, you got to go to the London Dungeon. Like, it's like the number one thing to do. And it's like the biggest tourist trap. It's like actors pretending to be like people in the plague and stuff like that. And Sweeney Todd. And I was like, why did you tell us? You are from here and you told us to go to like literally Madame Tussauds. Like, it was like, it was really weird. But then he was like, okay, we were staying with him. His brother was like involved in some club promoting or something like that. Okay. And he was like, okay, I have access to get us tickets to this nightclub called Fabric in London. And it's like a crazy nightclub when it has some weird one-word thing. Like, I want to open like the craziest nightclub in the world and just call it Verb. Like, it's like, it's just like, it has to be this like kind of nonsense, but also like mysterious, but like wild phrase.
I love it.
It was great. So he was like, I can get us, I think it was like $120 each or something. We have to get bottle servers. We have to get a table, but I can get us a table. Okay. And we should go to this club. And we were like, okay, like whatever. This sounds fun. Like, Griff was like, we're all like kind of comedy kids. So Liliana is from Pasadena. Liliana's like, down for a good time. Mm-hmm. Griff was like definitely down for something wild. We're in London. We're living a little bit. Jonathan feels like he knows the way around town. So we go to a couple pubs and then we end up at Fabric, and this place is crazy. It's 5 clubs in one. Oh my God. And it is just like the most overwhelming. I'm this like small town Texas kid. I have like Eli Young Band on my iPod in my pocket. I'm in Fabric in London. And I was like, this is so fucking nuts. And it was like overwhelming and loud and like very much like I've told people since that I've gone to Fabric and like, you went to Fabric? Like, what are you doing? We get there. I don't even remember. We all somehow got split up like immediately, of course. Oh my God. We were out there and just having a blast. And I was like dancing and having a good time. And then this girl comes up to me and she was like, I'm looking for my sister. This is exactly how she sounded, by the way. This isn't a bad impression. This is not any sort of inappropriate situation. This is verbatim. It's like a voice bug. I'm looking for my sister. That's 100% authentic London accent. So I said, oh, we got to find your sister. What's going on? Like we were like kind of dancing and talking like, oh yeah, we got a sister.
Still dancing. I love it.
Still dancing, still talking.
Like, oh, you're missing your sister? That's crazy.
Yeah. Oh, wow, that's nuts. We got to find your sister. Also, what a crazy first thing to just say someone like out of like, I'm looking for my sister. Like what do you I can't help. Like, I've never met you. Yeah, awesome. Badass. And I was like, well, let's find her. I'm a problem solving guy. I'm a straight shooter. I'm a square dealer. I remember the Alamo. So I was like, yeah, well, let's find your sister. And she goes, my name is Izzy from London. And I was like, oh, my name is Patrick from Texas. And she goes, Texas? We have a cousin in Seattle. So I was like, okay, like that's 50 hours away from me, right? Like, I'm like, that is not news. Like, that's like me being like, oh, you're from London. I have a friend in Turkey. Like, I don't know what. It doesn't matter. That's crazy news. So we're like walking around and I'm like, maybe this girl is like into me. I don't know. And we're like hanging out, talking, whatever. And we end up finding her sister, which is cool. And she goes, oh, this is my sister. And she goes, this is Patrick. He's from Texas. And the sister goes, Texas? We have a cousin in Seattle. I was like, oh, cool. And then they are gone. And then like I never see them again. Just kind of left with this like, oh my God, weird. Also, it's important to the time period. This is 2011, and the song, what is that song? Popping bottles in the ice, bam, 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 like a blizzard, like a G6. And we're feeling so fly. Okay. If this was a movie, that would be the theme song for this, and this song would be playing nonstop for 4 hours. Perfect. Because we were just singing this song, and then we play it, and then we'd sing it more. And there's so many drunk videos of us singing this song together. It's ridiculous. And truly, truly nuts. So then the night continues on. We are walking around. Griff is off flirting with people, doing some crazy thing. We finally find the table that we got. And I was just looking at photos of this because I posted an online Facebook album of this night. And I look back being like, why did I post these photos when I was 20 years old? This is insane. I look at these photos. We had the smallest little table with a red thing, like a blocked off, but we were literally under a pipe. Like we were we had like one bottle of Ciroc and we were under a pipe and we were in the corner. We had the worst table by far, but that was the deal that his brother got us. So it was okay. I remember walking around like so I found there's this one section where I was like hanging out and this girl comes up and she like offers us these like blue like tablets. What do you think those are, Trey? What do you think that is?
I mean, I have an assumption.
Okay. What would you guess?
I would assume it's some sort of like psychedelic.
I would guess that too. But I'll tell you what I was thinking. Listerine strip? I thought it was a Listerine strip. But what I told her is, I looked at her and I was like, no thanks, I don't like those. Drunk me was like, ugh, gross. Yeah, those are gross. Yuck. I don't like those. She's like, this fucking square. Loser guy being like, I don't like those. I don't know what a crazy thing if someone was like, hey, do you want some LSD? And someone said to me, I don't like those. I'd be like, it's crazy. My friend took it. Griff took LSD. He took whatever this was. And that was funny because he didn't feel it at all. And then there was one moment where he was like, I feel it. And I was like, never mind, it's gone. Okay, whatever. Drugs were different on him. That's fine. So we were continuing to go. Things get blurry as the night goes on. It was obviously crazy. And we're just having a lot of fun, a lot of drinks, a lot of running around, a lot of silliness. I I can't decide if this was the night that I started playing this game. I think I did start playing this game at this bar, at this club, which is you like touch someone on the top of the head and you run away. I shouldn't have been there, Trey. This isn't my vibe. This is not, this is not the place I'm supposed to be. This is literally letting a child into a sex party or something. Like, God. I'm just this like willing, like just loosey-goosey weirdo doing the craziest things. It was so silly. It was so strange. And then basically like I was dancing. It was crazy. And then I think I was dancing with a girl. It's very blurry, but I was dancing with this girl. And then this guy comes up and he headbutts me in the face. And he's like, get the fuck away from my girl, man. Get the fuck away. I don't know. I really don't remember. Get the fuck out of here, man. And he was like probably 1.5 feet shorter than me. And so he was jumping up to headbutt me in the face. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And he was like, get the fuck out of here, man. And he headbutt me again. I was like, oh no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And I was so drunk. So get the fuck. And he headbutt me a third time. And I was like, you're not listening to me. I'm trying to tell you I'm sorry. My friend Leona was like, we have to go. He's not gonna learn that you're sorry. Like, this is not the type of situation where we're gonna understand this and we're gonna move on. Like, because I'm a Texan.
Yeah,
I'm a straight shooter. I remember the album. I'm like, listen, I don't want to be clear with you. I'm not trying to use, I'm not stepping in on your girl, sir. Yeah. I'm not your lady. I ain't trying to get between you and your lady. And so it was like very much, gotta get out of there. We gotta get out of there. But I have a video of myself that night being like, I can't believe he headbutted me in the face. And I didn't do anything. I was just hanging out. And then, of course, in the background of the video, someone's singing popping bottles in the nonstop. I'm telling you, it was nonstop. It was just a wild night. And I just was looking at my Facebook because I found these photos and I found a caption of one of these photos. I mean, there's photos of just people literally laying on the stairs and on the floor. And then there was a photo I took of, there is my buddy John standing, and behind him, there's like these two beautiful women that are grinding on each other. Like, it was like this insane situation. And then there was a photo. Where is this photo? I need to find what the caption was, because I can't believe that I just posted this on my Facebook that my Texas high school teachers saw. So there's like my friends hanging out next to this girl who's turned, and then there's a guy that kind of turned around, and the caption is, apparently he was peeing. And there was a man, and I remember this, there was a man peeing on the wall. Like, this was crazy. There's just a man peeing on the wall. Like, and that's not part of this club is crazy. That's part of the people in this club are crazy, and we are with them, and we are part of them. Like this, there was pee on the walls. There was people on the floor. There were women from London who think Seattle is close to Texas. It was madness. It was a night of complete madness. On top of it all, I had a really cute umbrella that I bought earlier that day that had little Yorkshire Terriers on it. Lost it.
Oh, no.
Devastated. I mean, there's a video of me crying about that I lost my umbrella, which is the other crazy thing. That club ate me up. I'll tell you that much. And it's so crazy. Like, it's just like, I look back on that night being like, wow, we made it out. We made it out fine. We were all good. We were all drunk. It was such a blast. It was a good memory. I look back on that night fondly, because, I mean, there's a lot of layers, but that night was like it was exactly 10 years ago now. I think crazy. I did it in like February 2011. So
that's nuts.
It's so crazy. It was so much fun. And then, like kind of a sad part is that about a year later is that my buddy Griff, who I was with, actually ended up passing away. He had like an accident.
Man. I'm so sorry.
On a flight of stairs. Yeah, but it's like it's crazy because he was actually at our favorite bar in one of our favorite bars in Boston. He fell down a flight of stairs, and it was awful. It was so tragic. It was so awful, but it's kind of beautiful to me that like I have this crazy memory. Like you know, I think it's important to keep the wild times alive.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah,
I think it's
absolutely.
important to remember like the full version of a person. So remembering him in that instance, because he's like a Chicago kid, very Midwest manners. None of us were built for that place.
100%.
No, but there's a certain type of person that's built for that place, and we were not.
Southerners and the Midwesterners are not those people.
And someone from Pasadena, we were not. We were not for that crowd. That wasn't us. That wasn't supposed to be us. But it's one of my most fond memories. Like truly, so much fun. Yeah, that was just the wildest night of my life. So that's my story.
I fucking love that so much. I love that. Oh my god,
it's fun. It's fun to be a fish out of water somewhere.
Absolutely.
You know?
Well, and not to like bring it down, but like knowing that your friend that you experienced that with is like not with us anymore. Like, I feel like it almost even makes that night even more special because you're like, no, that was a crazy fucking night that we experienced, and like no one will ever understand what that night was like.
No, and there's a lot of like, and there's other stuff too that I just can't even go into. I mean, no, I really because I don't know it.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know what happened.
Yeah,
it's fragments. But yeah, I mean, it's like so crazy to look back, and I want to look at this. What is the outfit that I wore? I'll tell you what I wore because it's so funny. I can't believe. Did I take any photos of myself? Oh yeah, I wore like a gray. What is this? Like a gray Gap shirt. Like I wore like a gray shirt from the Gap. And I'm guessing jeans that didn't fit me because when I was studying abroad, one time this girl asked me, "Hey, have you ever thought about wearing jeans that fit?" Which was the most devastating thing anyone's ever asked me. But I'm wearing like a literal sport wristwatch in this photograph.
Oh my god!
Sitting under a vent, tiniest table. You can clearly see the vent. Oh my gosh! Yeah, we had an exclusive table with a red rope.
Oh my god, I love it.
It was so insane.
Have you been back to the Netherlands since?
I haven't been back to the Netherlands. I haven't been back to Europe since. I've desperately wanted to go. It was like the most fun. I mean, studying abroad is like truly everyone's favorite time. If you get the privilege of going, it's like such a dream.
Yeah.
Did you get to study abroad?
I didn't study abroad, but I've traveled like a lot for. I'm like very thankful at the amount of places I've been able to go.
That's awesome.
And yeah, it's like I have a very similar night in Tokyo, and it was just insane.
It's so much fun. I mean, I'm so grateful that like I had those experiences and I embraced. I mean, I'm always someone to embrace a moment and experience, and I like to go for things, especially if it's, I wrote a web series for a vet clinic. I watched 2 spangs and a neutering. Partially for the money, but mostly for the story. Yeah, I mean, it's like so fun. Love that. I love to have these experiences and these memories because like I love to sit around and think about them and be like, wow, I can't believe I lived through that. So it's like,
are you the type? I would imagine the answer is probably yes, but like, are you the type that when you're in one of those moments, like, can you recognize that, hey, this is one of those moments, and then do you have the ability to like take a step back and say, I want to appreciate this as it's happening because I recognize that this is fucking crazy.
It goes up and down. I think I do love a moment, and I love embracing a moment. I love being in the middle of something because I'm the kind of person that if I'm really enjoying something, I'll look around and I won't stop saying like, I love this. I love that. I'm loving this right now. I'm having a blast. And everyone's like, we know. It's like when a kid.
Yeah, we get it.
Yeah. I had a niece that like when she was first learning how to speak, she would like narrate herself. She'd be like running, eating. Like she'd like say the things she's doing. And that's what I was doing. I'm like enjoying myself. So it's like very stupid, but I try to turn on my recorder as much as possible, especially when it's a crazy situation, because I want to tell people about this for as long as I possibly can and know the story. So I think it's so important just to be like, just to be present, but I'm present. I'm almost present to the point where I'm so present, I'm actually not engaging. I'm just I'm just like taking all of this in. But God, I love it.
God, that is so funny.
It's so funny. And this just like looking back, and this is the first time I've looked back on that story and being like, oh, I got chewed up and I got like fucking wasted and thrown away by this club. That club ate me alive, and I'm lucky to be alive. But like, it's like, that was nonsense. And it was like,
you
that
came
is
out a different man. Yeah.
That's a dark force. I saw a lot of stuff in there, and I was never meant to see it. And it felt really, really crazy. Yeah, it was a blast though. Man, what an honor.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's perfect. What a perfect story.
Oh, good. I'm glad.
No, it's great.
Okay, good.
I love
good.
it. I love it.
Nice.
All right, man. You feel good?
I feel good. That's all you need, huh?
That's all. That's it, man. Yeah.
How long was that story? Like 20 minutes? 10 minutes?
Sure. I don't know. I'll figure it out.
Doesn't matter. Okay. Love it.
Anywhere in particular you would like me to point people towards?
Oh, geez. Yeah, you can go to my Instagram, Patrick.
Four Patricks.
4 Patricks, because the 3 was taken. I was just adding Patricks. I was adding Patricks until I hit gold. That's all I was going for.
You're like 1, fuck.
Yeah.
2,
fuck.
fuck.
3.
Fuck.
Yeah. I was ready to go for 5. I was ready. I didn't need to, luckily. This was 2011. Patrick hadn't been taken yet. So I got in gold. I got 4th, but I got in gold.
Amazing.
And then, yeah, it's funny because that's weirdly become I just started it like passive progressively because my friend wanted me to start an Instagram, and I was like, well, I'm not thinking of a name because I can't think of another name. I was like, I can't. So I'm just going to do Patrick. No, it's taken. Patrick. I was like, I'm done. And then now weirdly, it's like, it's the clunkiest name to say 4 times. And it's become, people go like, oh, Patrick. I'm like, okay. 4 Patricks. And then my Instagram or my Twitter is Patrick McDonald with a 0 instead of an O.
Perfect.
You can listen to Friday Nights with Patrick and Ryan on Radio Margaritaville.
Okay.
And my podcasts are Artists on Artists on Artists on Artists, or AOA pod on Twitter and Instagram, and Parrot Head Podcast.
The Parrot Head Podcast. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I fucking love it, man. Thank you so much, man.
Oh my gosh, thanks for having me. This was so fun.
Yeah, this was super fun.
Awesome, man.
Thank you so much, man. This was great.
Yeah, have a good day.
Thanks,
See you, man.
You too, bud. See ya.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to today's episode of Tell Me Yours. If you want to follow Patrick on Instagram, he is at Patrick. If you want to follow along his podcasts, he is the current host of Artists on Artists on Artists on Artists pod. If you want to follow his other podcast, it's just called Parrot Head Podcast. And then if you want to listen to his weekly radio show on Radio Margaritaville on Sirius XM, it is Friday nights with Ryan and Patrick from 7 p.m. to midnight. Check that out. Thank you so much to Patrick for telling us that awesome story. Please go follow along. He's genuinely hilarious. I've loved his content since I found it. If you want to follow us on Instagram and Twitter, we are at Tell Me Yours Pod. If you want some extra exclusive time with Patrick, some more laughs, some more stories, head over to patreon.com/tellmeyours for the full unedited conversation with video. Thank you again so much for listening. And until next week, be kind to each other, and we'll talk soon.